Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Corona Spotlight 2020. I am your host, Gayle Nicholson. I'm really happy to be here again with you today, this Easter Monday. And I am really excited about my guest today. She's an author. Her book launches tomorrow. So we got kind of a pre launch vibe going on here. And the content of her book is so perfectly timely for this period in our lives on this planet. It's called Smile from the Inside, a chakra meditation for when you feel out of control. And it is absolutely perfect for these days and times. So help me welcome Miss Sherry Fragosa. She is the author of Smile from the Inside, and she is also office director at a holistic medical office. So we'll also touch a little bit on what that's like going through coronavirus quarantine. So thank you for joining us today, Sherry. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's begin talking a little bit about the book itself. I love the concept of it, but specifically because I've seen the cover of the book and it looks very almost cartoonish. But who is this book for?
It's for kids. It's for kids. Our target is between ages 4 and 8 specifically.
Hmm.
But honestly, everybody can benefit from it. I started doing chakras with my son, when he was 1. I have a big chakra poster in his room. And so, but, any age from children to adults really can benefit from it, but it is geared towards kids.
Well, that's awesome. That way, a lot of people like my husband, who insists that he refuses to grow up, will be able to benefit from this.
Yes, it's for our spouses. That's perfect.
Absolutely. So, give me a little bit of idea. How long have you been interested in chakras, and how did you come to your love for that field, so to speak?
Yeah, when I was 21, I moved from Pennsylvania out here to Arizona, and I went to a school called SWIHA, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. And I came out here to become a massage therapist. I had kind of switched gears in my college career and decided I wanted to get into and actually start working. So instead of, going for bachelor's and master's, do something that just needed a certificate and then a license. So
Hmm.
came out here, I started studying massage, ended up taking every energy work class there and learned all about the chakras and very deeply into the chakras and the elements of how the chakras can uh, change so much in you mentally, physically, emotionally. It was so simplistic, and all the puzzle pieces started coming together when I was first introduced to them, and then studied deeper into them uh, when I moved out here. So Arizona has really done that for me.
Is it's something, there's something about Arizona because I think we're one of the major vortex areas on the planet
Yeah,
that yeah, there's a it's a mecca for energy workers, people who are sensitive to energy and
yeah,
that can use it and manipulate it and guide by it.
yeah,
Good stuff. Good
yeah.
stuff. Um, so let me ask you this: what caused the book?
Well, I do chakra medicine and chakra healing every day, all day in my life, in my family's life, when I'm at work and talking to my employees. And so everybody knows me as, the chakra girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a family situation in that my son was not adjusting to kindergarten well. And every week he was getting pulled into the principal's office, and we were getting called from the principal about what his behavior was this week, what
Mm-hmm.
he did, something. And at one point, it was right after my birthday, so it was halfway through the year. So this was every week, all year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he got in a lot of trouble. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do chakra meditations with him. I did Reiki with him one night and guided him through what ended up being this book. And we did it that night, and his energy really shifted after about 20 minutes of doing it.
Okay.
And the next day, when we went to school, we did it again in the car on the way to school, and he didn't get in trouble at school. And then we did it again, these exercises, these meditations every day for the rest of the year. And he hasn't gotten in trouble in a year, which is a huge thing when you're getting in trouble every day and sent to the principals every week. So I told my friends about it, my employees about it when, we'd be working on issues that, challenges they would have at work. And a couple of them suggested, you should write this down. You should write this down. And so one day when I was doing my prayers in the woods, I just heard a message on, write this down. And I looked for an illustrator, wrote it down, got it illustrated, and here we are.
That's phenomenal. So it officially launches tomorrow, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's available on Amazon.com.
Yeah. And Barnes and Noble.
And Barnes and Noble. Excellent.
Online. Everything's online now anyway, because of what's going on. So yeah.
Right. So also, we were talking about the fact that for every book sold this week, you are going to donate another book to who? Tell me
about it. To the Child Crisis Center.
Okay.
To the Arizona Child Crisis Center. And I'm reaching out to a couple people to see if there's other good organizations to donate to. Child Crisis Center does an amazing job with foster kids and kids just in challenging situations. So they do such an amazing job for the community. And I've worked with them in the past. I volunteered with them and taught dance to the kids. We've utilized their services before, and it's an amazing organization. Those kids can use every element of help that they can get. And that's really what the book does. It gives them these simple visualizations to imagine. All they have to imagine, and it will change the way that they think, the way they feel, and the way that they behave. And it's just going to give them really good tools to be able to make better choices when they have choices in their life now, but then also moving forward, it's going to really give them a good foundation.
Excellent. Yeah. That's good work to be done. Absolutely. Yeah. And definitely a group that requires that, especially when you consider that just during this coronavirus pandemic, quarantine period, domestic violence has gone up 40%. Now, we normally think of the adults arguing and hitting each other when we hear domestic violence, but in many cases, the kids are getting hurt long before that happens. And,
Absolutely.
Sometimes it only escalates to the adults when mom steps in front of the children and says, no more, Right. So definitely a segment of society that really needs some additional support right now. So thank you for doing that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, help me kind of extrapolate out a little bit. Now, we're going stir crazy in our homes with our spouses and our families, and maybe some people that are extended families that have decided to quarantine with us. I know a friend of mine was just telling me yesterday that her son decided to quarantine with his girlfriend. So we may have actually people in our homes that aren't even part of our family, so to speak, that we're having to put up with. How can this book help the adults even in those situations?
Yeah, this book, I have to say, has helped me deal with all the situations I've had to deal with too, since the pandemic and the quarantine has occurred. So ultimately, you're doing breathing exercises. So it makes you take a moment. It teaches you how to take a breath, a simple breath. And just that alone brings so much stress relief to the body physically. And then also mentally and emotionally, usually because mentally you'll calm down from there. And then your emotions usually calm down when your mental thoughts start to calm down. So you have that beautiful combination of effects just from breathing. And then for adults or kids, when they're actually harnessing their chakras, they're creating a space to be able to release things that doesn't serve them anymore and shift it into the positive elements. And
Nice.
in doing that, it can bring us a lot of clarity. It can bring us a lot of peace. It can bring us a lot of strength if there's a lot of fear and we feel weak.
Mm-hmm.
Feel weak and it's creating fear because we're feeling weak and we're not comfortable with that.
Makes sense.
Just makes things okay with the craziness and literally the out of controlness that we have right now. This is so new. This whole every piece of this pandemic that is affecting families and affecting individuals, every piece is so new to all of us. And so many times new things are scary for us and we fight them. And by doing these simple meditations that don't take very long at all, it brings acceptance.
Nice.
And acceptance is really where healing comes from.
Yeah, I like that. That's very, very poignant. That acceptance is where healing comes from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's profound, actually. Thank you. um, so yeah, I can imagine grounding as well.
Yes.
Correct. You know, that's one of the things that, as you were talking about, is like I could literally feel my own energy just kind of solidify and
Yeah.
connect as we were even talking about that. Just the idea of thinking about it helps. So
Yeah.
yeah, the process of doing it would be amazing as well. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what challenges that you're having to deal with the medical office that you run.
Rules change sometimes every hour. I would say that's a challenge. So I'm the director of operations there, and I've owned it with Dr. Brass, the OBGYN, for 16 years. And I've been lucky enough, we've been able to promote from within, and I now have managers at the office. So I have an office manager there. So I don't need to physically be there making sure everything's going well, but I need to make sure that the office is still running.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part, for me to figure out what patients we're bringing in, well, ultimately the doctors are making those choices, of course, because they're making a clinical choice there. But we've had to change all of our procedures and go into telemedicine, go into we did telemedicine before, but not 50% of our practice, which is now what telemedicine is.
Gotcha.
So creating all of those new procedures and making sure we have all of my staff still working. That's really important for me
Right.
to make sure that they all still have jobs and figuring out what programs are out there, what we qualify, what they qualify for. There's so much, to be honest, just keeping up with all of the changes that come daily,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes every couple hours with the changes. It's a little bit less now with the changes, but we still get daily changes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the biggest challenges. And, I've been lucky enough to be preparing for this launch of the book because, I've had to edit the book and revise the book and read it again and almost force myself to do these exercises, to take the time to do these simple visualizations, to then calm myself down and I can get right back to work and make better decisions. I have to say that I am really lucky with the staff that we have and the providers that we have. Everyone is such a team and putting 110% in that. Collectively, they're all coming up with amazing ideas on how we can all support each other and our patients while staying safe, while keeping our, heads above water.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very blessed in that element that I have such an amazing group of ladies to be working for us, but still keeping them all there and working together it's stressful.
I'll bet. I'll
It's,
bet.
yeah.
All this new, all this how do we do this now?
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing the resiliency of, I want to say Americans, but it's not Americans, it's human beings. It's all
Yeah,
around
I
the
agree.
world,
I
right?
agree. Yes.
Of people that, okay, this stuff is stressful, it's crazy, it's chaotic. We can handle this. We can fix this, we can overcome this, we can
Yeah.
figure this out.
Yeah.
Um, just we saw it in spades, back after 9/11, right?
Yeah. Right.
But
Everybody's
even,
pulling together now.
yeah, and this is happening in smaller pockets. We're not seeing so much of it necessarily, but
Mhm.
that's not because it's not happening. It's happening
Right.
in the little doctor's offices. It's happening in, the the fast food joints that are figuring out how to, you know
Right.
shift it
Exactly.
to takeout only, delivery only kind of things. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very encouraged to see how people are stepping up to do what needs to be done to make this shift.
Yeah. And I have to say, I totally agree with what you said in the element of the resiliency of human beings. And I 100% agree with that statement. And I think what's also beautiful is something I always say to my son is love begets love and hate begets hate.
Yeah.
And they had that in the movie Fifth Element. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's completely my mantra. Like, and and with that though, when I do have to go to the grocery store and I'm getting supplies for my house and I'm getting supplies for the office, um, seeing when you smile at someone at the grocery store, especially the people working there,
Hmm.
they're so nice. They're so smiley back. And that simple energy and resiliency of being able to smile and have some happiness within them,
Hmm.
that breeds so many places. When I'm coming around the corner in the grocery store and you it's like a blind corner and you practically hit somebody
Yeah.
and you smile at them and say, oh, I'm so sorry, and they smile back at you. I
Hmm.
so much of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing a lot of the nastiness that I think other people, are expressing. I've seen some of it. Try not to focus on it and try to focus on the smiles instead, and remember those smiles. And those little moments are so important. And we focus on that at my office also, because when we can have small moments of happiness between the staff, whether they're working from home or whether they're working at the office,
Right.
that's going to give them more energy to be able to smile from the inside when they're talking to a patient, and then hopefully shift that patient's day. And it absolutely escalates. And I love that energy, that happiness can escalate. It's all so connected.
I love that. Let's take that on for this week and figure out how we can escalate happiness. Yeah.
Smiling. I think it's the number one thing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That is the perfect place to start. But
Yeah.
where else in life can we escalate happiness?
Yeah, that's a
You know
good
what I'm
challenge.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
to take a
definitely
note
put
on.
that out there this week. Um, I noticed that myself. I went over to Target the other day. Um, and I don't remember exactly what I had to go over there, but it was one of those I have to go, I can't put it
Yeah.
off any longer type things. And I'm walking around, and there were people wearing masks, there were people that weren't. But
Mhm.
every time that I caught somebody's eye, I smiled at
Mhm.
them and they
Yeah.
smiled back. And it's
Right.
exactly as you were talking about.
Yeah.
There's something that's created in the connection,
Yeah.
and that we are starving for right
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
Because we don't realize where we get that when we have to drive in traffic, when we have to go to work, when we have to go,
Mhm.
shopping or for coffee
Yeah.
or drinks with a friend. Just
Yeah.
having these areas where there's multiple people, right? And we feel
Yeah.
their energy and we don't realize it. And we're starving for that connection right now.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm always,
there.
yeah.
It's there. And like that really comes down to the chakras. I hear a lot of people saying, how they, miss being able to, hug my son, he wants to hug his grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And that the physical touch is so important, and it is very healing. And at the same time, being able to harness the strength and the true energy of that action. It's not just a physical embrace. Your heart chakras are connected.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Connect heart chakras. You don't have to even see somebody to connect their heart chakra. So that's the beautiful element, which I didn't really actually think of that until right now, that, in the book, when we're talking about connecting the heart chakras, that's a complete replacement right now for hugs, since we can't physically get hugs from all the people that, like, I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I going to meet people when we get out of this? Or are we still going to be able to hug? We can't shake hands. So probably no hugging. Let's with that.
Well, if we do have to go into the realm of no hugging, I am a big proponent of the Wakanda salute.
Okay.
I think we should just adopt that across the board. How you
Love
going?
it.
It's good.
That's
I
awesome.
think it's beautiful. So this is awesome. So tell me once again, where can we get this book? Is it Kindle downloadable as well for our phones?
It's not on ebook. It's only in physical book right now.
Okay.
We wanted to just get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
So the launch happened a little bit earlier than planned. So I don't have an ebook right now. I do want to do an ebook, but it's not here now because I just want to be able to get the book in people's hands that are looking for it. So you can go to my website, which is sherryfragosa.com.
Okay.
And I have links on there, so you can just click on the link and then it'll take you straight to Amazon. If you go to Barnes and Noble online, you can also look for Smile from the Inside, and it should pop up for you.
Awesome. Fabulous. And thank you again for your generosity of donating a book for each book sold this week to that organization that so desperately needs your help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sherry, do you have any final words for our guests today, or our watchers today? Anything that you'd like to leave them with?
Stay healthy, stay happy, and smile from the inside.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with me today, Sherry.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks so much, Gayle. You have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye. When you do actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.